Welcome, everybody, back to another episode of When God Speaks. I'm Enrique. Madeline, my co host, is doing some things, which is what we're going to be speaking about today. What is God up to? And let me tell you, He is not short of any actions in my life, and I'm sure He's not short of any actions in yours. And so we are actually transitioning When God Speaks from a recorded platform to one that we can interact and I can hear from you and I can reply and we can ask questions and things of that nature as we share what God has put in our hearts for each session. So every week on Sunday, 1100 Eastern time, we will be live and speaking what the Lord puts on our heart. And today I want to speak specifically about what he's been up to in my life. And hopefully you will be able to share some of the things that he is doing in yours. Most of you know, if you've followed our show, and we're about 26 subscribers strong, which is great. We started with zero, right? So we're at 26. We would love to get to 100 uh, simply because, and I always usually tell folks, 100 is when you can actually sees your name. So it'll be When God Speaks instead of this huge, large name in the back of our channel. But that is our goal, and hopefully we can get there with your help. So I've shared in other forms, other formats, and other platforms my journey for the last year. Uh, I'm not going to say it's been the worst. I'm not going to tell you that. There are a lot of people around the world that have worse. They know worse. Uh, Mine was just challenging, right? Being unemployed the almost the entire year until recently, at the end of February, to just to be exact. And so during that whole period, God had put this peace in my heart, and as the main breadwinner, the one helping to support your family, it could be nerve wracking to not have a way of doing that. And, that's really what propelled me into the whole podcast, vidcast. This platform is an actual vidcast. What does that mean? Is that we do a podcast platform, but video only, right? So we don't produce a audio podcast per se. So it's strictly video. And so that's why we've dubbed it a vidcast. But the absence of that employment actually propelled me into what you see me doing here recently, which is a lot of activity on LinkedIn, a lot of video activity. So I have two podcasts that I uh, am affiliated with. One is for Triad Leadership Solutions, which is developing the Leader Within podcast, and the other one's a veteran-centric uh, leadership development platform as well. It's called The Leadership Void. So I started those two podcasts plus this vidcast because of the absence of the employment. But and let me tell you, it's been a great blessing not only to have the guests that I've been able to secure for the shows, but to have you engage in those platforms, on those platforms through those shows. I've seen a lot of people send me messages of growth and encouragement and positivity that they did not have absent of those shows. So God was definitely providing a platform. And hey, when God speaks, you listen and you do. So anyway, that year of unemployment allowed for several things. Number one, like I just explained, it opened doors for the podcast availability. And let me tell you, I was not short of traveling this world through those mediums. it it would not have happened had I had a job and I had not gone ahead and said, yes, Lord, I'm going that way and I'm going to do these podcasts. I've literally traveled this world through those mediums and met hundreds of people that have just either deposited in me or I've been able to deposit into them hope, faith, prosperity, success, enrichment. And so these things that happen for the absence of work have been a great blessing in my life. I have been provided for. A great friend and brother of mine, came out of the blue and in a time of dire need, provided not only to meet that need, but just shared his heart. And wow, that came out of an absence of employment. Some people will just gravitate to the fact that they don't have an employment and then just be surrounded by all the doom and gloom that comes with that feeling. But here I'm seeing God provide and God speak and God move in ways which I am about to tell you, because you need to know, right? And I love to share what God is doing in my life and what he has been up to. And that's why I titled it today, what's he up to? So we go down the road of the year, and here we are. We end of February, and this is how this happened. I went on LinkedIn. The first post I see was one of another brother of mine from the Navy, and it was for a job. It was a job posting. So I asked some questions. He encouraged me to apply, so I did. Lo and behold, I'm in the list of interviewees, and they go through their process, and they call me back, and so now I'm feeling happy. You get that second call back, you're feeling happy. I'm feeling happy, praying about it. Speaking a lot about it to my wife, because it's been over a year, and you never know how these gaps impact you. But let me just tell you this: there is no gap God can't fill. So in any case, I get a call, and they offered me the position. To say that I was blown away, it's one thing. Me and my wife were just dumbfounded about how God works in our life. And I'll tell you this, midway through that period, a great mentor of mine brought an opportunity to us. And I won't get into details, but it was employment. It was marvelous pay. Anybody would jump on it. But it wasn't, but we sought God. Me, my wife, my children, and my father-in-law, we got together. We sought God about it, and we did not feel peace. Now, when God speaks, you're going to feel some peace, unless he's talking to you because you need to, change something, right? But you're going to feel some peace because that's what he brings. And so we did not feel that, and we didn't go that route. It broke my heart to say no, but we knew that although on the surface it looked like a great opportunity, the Spirit was telling us that it wasn't for us at this moment. It may be later, who knows? But we knew that we needed to follow the lead that the Lord was taking us down. So we did not take it, and I am okay with that. So anyway, here comes this opportunity, and let me tell you, if God was not all over this, it was seamless. There were no moments of despair. It was all great. And then so I started last week, Thursday. So not this immediate week, the week before. So the week before Thursday. So it's been a week and a couple of days. And I am blown away by the leadership, by the structure, by their mission, their intent. Let me just tell you that God was all over this, and so I'm excited. I'm excited to bring whatever talents God has given me to this organization, and they have already blessed me in ways that I could not thank them enough. So may the Lord bless this organization in marvelous ways, whether it be through me or through anybody else, for their kindness to His Son. Right? It has been a wonderful journey so far. Only a week, and so I wish I could have said that for every organization I became part of, but this one deserves it, and so kudos to them for doing that. Now, at the same time, and if you followed When God Speaks since we started, and it's been a little while now, Madeleine, my co-host, was going through a similar situation. And so when we decided to do When God Speaks, we knew that he was blessing us regardless of the situations around us. And so we just decided to give him praise for it, and let people know that he's still hearing, and he's still answering, and he's still doing. So she's going through the same journey as I was, no employment, and she has shared this. So I'm just reiterating things that she shared. But God is also moving in her life and opening doors and blessing her. And I have been a witness to it because we spoke, throughout the whole time. And right now, as we speak, now I am, she is handling some business. I send her. So if she pops in here, hey, I'm going to bring her right back in here. But she's doing some things on her end. She had was given the opportunity to open up her own wellness center. Now, this has been a dream of hers for a very long time, but it is now that it's happening. And so I am so happy for her, having, conversed with her throughout the year, when we do these shows, and there's always some backstage talk, little specifics that we don't share during the show, but to see her journey as well, parallel to mine, at the same time, seeing God do things that he is just moving mountains at the same time. It's just so heartwarming. And she is on her journey to open and manage her own wellness center. And by the way, in the show notes, I will be putting a link, because she is in South Africa, and situations in other countries are different than the ones that we have here in the United States. But she is seeking some help, some assistance in that endeavor. And so I will be putting that link in the show notes, where if God leads you to help her, that you can. We all need help some way, somehow. and she needs our support, even at the minimum of showing her by words your support, or sharing with her your prayers for her success would mean the world to her. So I'll be including that with the program. So what is God up to? And I transitioned this to a live show so that you can be able to join us and share what God is up to in your life. Some other stuff that he had been able to do with me. I was just on a show impromptu. Hey, brother, can you do this? And I was like, yes, let's go. Let's do it. And it has been a blessing. And you can go back to my post on LinkedIn and kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about there. I just posted about it this morning. So God is moving in so many different ways and in so many different facets of my life. And I'm sure that not everybody out there is able to see that in their life. And so I want to speak to those that are not seeing the same things and are wondering if God is even listening. Let me tell you, his ear is not short. He's not deaf. His hands, his arms are not short to reach you where you are. He is listening. Sometimes it's the receiver that doesn't get the message. And sometimes it's by two ways, right? The message was sent and it's being blocked. Or the message is sent and the receiver is not ready to receive. You pointed the wrong direction. You're looking in the wrong direction. You're asking God, but then you're looking at men or humans for the answer. So in both those cases, things can be mitigated so that message gets through. When it is not within your means, that means that there are spiritual things blocking that message from getting to you. Pray against the blockage. Lord, I don't know if you're answering or not, but I'm going to pray that whatever is blocking this message from getting to me, that it be destroyed, that it be canceled, so that message would come. And on the other side, if it's maybe a directional thing, right? Because if you know anything about communications, the transmitter and the receiver need to be in sync. But if it's that the receiver, you are not in line, then just simple prayer, Lord, if it's me, then align me so that I can get that message. We all, in one way, shape, or form, share prayers. I was praying over some people that had requested on LinkedIn your prayer. So I do that immediately. And I learned that from my mom. And I say, my mom, she's my second mother. She's my spiritual mother. And not too long ago, she asked me to pray. And I said, yeah, when I get home. She goes, man of God, you pray now. I don't want no layaway prayer, but she didn't say that. But that's what I translated her comment. But don't give no layaway prayers, right? Later, pray it now. So I make a habit to pray on the moment when I see the request, so that I can agree with them in their time of need. But if it's a directional thing, you can also pray about that. So this may or may not be the moment that you hop on and are able to share. It may not be this session, but every Sunday at 11. Now, not everybody is able to go to church and be in a service. Not everybody is able to connect with someone to be able to discuss things about God and when God speaks, or testimonials or whatnot. But this is a platform that I'm providing every Sunday at 11 for half hour a minimum. And Lord knows how long if things start to really increase in terms of participation. But don't give up hope. Don't allow your faith to be hampered by the things that you see, the storms that you see around you. God is listening and he will answer. We just need to be able to receive it, right? And so part of the logo of when God speaks is the ears, right? Because you got to you and that's funny because when you're in a protective mode, there are ear coverings that keep you from decibel levels that will hinder your hearing long term. And then when you're doing podcasts, you have that headset as a way of listening. So it depends on what you want that to represent. But when God speaks, you want it to be headphones, right? You want it to be something that you can listen intently and canceling out all the rest of the noise. So, we're about 20 plus minutes into this today. I wanted to make sure that I provided the platform and the venue for listeners to come in and chat with us. If you are not a subscriber, I ask you to subscribe. That way you can be alerted. There's also a notification bell that you can actually hit and be notified when I go on air. Hopefully, Madeleine will join me in future ones as she is going through her growing pains over in South Africa with her wellness center. And hopefully you can join us on a weekly basis. And maybe this would be your version of church, if not, if you don't have one. But it's always good to hear what God is doing in our lives. It's an encourager to know that, hey, I'm not the only one going through this, but look what God is doing in that life. He's able to do that in mine as well. So sometimes that's what testimonies are for. And so I encourage you to join us 11 o'clock Sundays Eastern time to get a little inspiration and as well share some of your stories about what God's up to in your life. So I will cut it here and bid you all a great Sunday and a wonderful and prosperous week ahead. And as we, continue to listen to God and his words in our life, not only by the written, but by the voices of those that are experiencing great things happening in their life, but by these means. May you be blessed. May prosperity be on your side. And I wish you all success and a very fruitful week ahead. God bless you.